Why Rwanda? I think it's been an ongoing story for the Israel-Rwanda bilateral relations. Already, Israel is very much active in the Rwandan economy. They are very much active in the agriculture sector, where they are very good. But why now? You have to look at a lot of things going on in the wider East African region. A lot of East Africans are going in areas where Israel is very active, looking for jobs, Middle East and the Far East generally. And you know that Israel is very security conscious, so that means that those regions are very volatile, and indoctrination is a very major risk for national security for a state like Israel, which is always watching its back. So having a presence in the region helps you. For me, I look at it from a national security or regional security kind of benefit. Israel is very good on two fronts. One, its technology economy is very advanced. Two, they are also very good at the pharmaceutical, sector, where they are very good at producing medicines. So, but I want to focus on the technology aspect, which is where Rwanda also wants to position itself as an ICT hub. If you look at what Israel is good at and what Rwanda wants to be, I see a major opportunity for collaboration. So having an embassy here means that it increases the opportunity for technology exchanges or sending Rwandans to Israel for further capacity building in the area of technologies, different technologies, by the way. And the one I like most is the one that helps countries stabilize their security. Because if you look at it from an economic perspective, they say, oh, we know that Rwanda is a very attractive destination for investment. But what makes it so? It's national security and political stability. But we're talking at an embassy of Israel opening at a time when we're having major challenges from the neighborhood, challenges that are threatening the security of Rwanda. So when you get deeper ties with a country like Israel, which is very good at national security, intelligence and technology related to furthering such aspects, for me, I see Israel and its presence here as a stabilizing factor, which will enhance Rwanda's national security and political stability, which are two factors that ensure that Rwanda continues to be a very attractive destination for investment.
Right. You mentioned in your answer that Israel is very present in Rwanda and has been for some time. And we know that they reestablished ties in like 25 years ago. What other notable achievements have, or things that have happened between the countries since then?
Normally, when a country appoints an ambassador to your country, you have to look at their profile. And I very much like the choice that Israel has made in Ron Adam for ambassador of Rwanda. He's a very experienced diplomat who has been active from the 90s, and he's very competent in dealing with the UN. He, in fact, moved for the UN resolution to observe the Holocaust Day internationally. Now, it's also happening in April when Rwanda is also commemorating the 25 years since the end of the genocide. Right. So he's a very competent guy internationally, and you want such a person. So by Israel giving you such a person, it also shows you how important Israel regards Rwanda. The other thing I noticed about him is that he also has a very keen interest in energy, especially renewables, where he's been engaging with the OSCDs, with the body that brings together people in the International Renewable Energy Commission. He's very active there now. He has a fellow Israelite running the Rwanda Energy Group, Ron Weiss, who is another Israelite very experienced in the energy sector. So, and Rwanda is looking at, boosting its energy production capacity. So when you look at these two gentlemen with their backgrounds, for me, this is a relationship that, first of all, Israel takes very seriously, but also it tells you that Israel and Rwanda are looking at engaging at very advanced levels.
Right. But since the 25 years that, there have been some cooperation between the two countries, what are some other notable achievements that have come from cooperation, or rather, which industries are we focusing on during this cooperation?
They are very good, like I said, at agriculture. Israel, most of it is a desert, but they are also very good at food production, using a lot of agriculture-related technology. They already have a project in that area, and I think this week they launched something like to do with a Center of Excellence, yes, still in the sector of agriculture.
Right.
So that's a major focus for them. Two, like I said, energy. Right. Is somewhere we also have to look at. Ever since Ron Waste came at Rwanda Energy Group, things seem to be stabilizing. So that's another aspect you have to look at closely. But most importantly, security collaboration. For me, national security supersedes all the other interests, because like I said, without national security, you have no trade to talk about, you have no investment to talk about. So those three aspects, the technology exchanges, a lot of visits of Rwandans going to Israel to develop their expertise. But finally, is the aspect of growing the routes that Rwanda Air plays. Right. Already we now know that Rwanda Air will be flying to Israel, direct flights. Right. That's a very good point, and it feeds into our tourism efforts. We will see a lot of Israelites coming here, and we'll see a lot of Rwandans. Israel is very good at religious tourism, right, looking at some of these sites where Jesus, walked. Right. So all this is very, good stuff, especially if we have an embassy here. That means travel is eased because you can get the paperwork very easily because of the consular services which are now here. And finally, I think we're going to become stronger partners when engaging at an international level, pushing through Rwandan interests, especially through the UN system. If you have a very experienced diplomat here, we can always learn a lot from his experience. Right. So I see a lot of benefits from this.
Going back to that new flight that's going to be launched between Kigali and Tel Aviv, we know that there's a demand to go to Israel. I mean, as it stands, Rwanda is growing its tourism industry, but I think Israel is a bit further along in that. So do you think that it's going to be beneficial for both parties in the same way? And do you think that there'll be more people coming from that end to this end?
I mean, normally in diplomacy, people talk about mutual benefits. But like it is, normally, if for the benefits, you're going to look at, for example, how many Rwandans have the capacity to travel often to Israel. It's an issue of incomes. But if Israel helps Rwandans to boost their incomes, then that means in years to come, they'll be put in a position where they can travel wherever they want, and that includes Israel. As it is now, if you look at the per capita incomes, Israelites are in a better position. That means their consumption parity or position is better than ours in Rwanda. But like I said, this is a relationship where the stronger one helps you boost your weaknesses or grow your capacity where you're weak. And that's what I see going to happen in the medium term. And like the director in the Israel's Foreign Affairs Minister mentioned, that he's looking more for more benefits coming in a few years to come. A few years to come, that means everything that Israel helps Rwanda to do, especially in the agriculture sector where we have a lot of Rwandans active, with incomes increasing in future, we'll get to a point where we are now at par to look at benefits from a mutual perspective. As for now, it's not that balanced, but it's still a brotherly, sisterly relationship that will benefit everybody from different perspectives.
Right. We recently also saw the diplomatic relations between Israel and Chad just sort of reignited again. I think that was in January. Do you think that there is just a move now with Israel trying to sort of, get back into Africa, create stronger relations throughout the continent?
I mean, countries will always pursue every country, every state has interests beyond their borders. Now, some of these are seasonal, some of these are historic, some of these come depending on what's on global developments. Like I said, right now, the biggest threat to global order is terrorism. And Israel is very good at, counter-terrorism intelligence and stuff. So when you look at a lot of people moving, Africans moving from here to the Middle East looking for jobs, a desperate person is also a very dangerous weapon. So these are dangerous areas where a lot of Africans are moving to. And Israel as a state is an endangered state. And a lot of investment is put in protecting their interest to survive as a state, but also make sure that they put their presence in areas where they can protect their strategic interests globally. Now, if you look at going to Chad, because this is the 11th embassy in Africa, so that tells you that wherever they have done the analysis and they feel being present somewhere strengthens their national strategic interests, they will go there. Because for Israel, like I said, security is, you know, like a top priority agenda for them before anything else. So for Chad, I'll look at it from that perspective.